RedBeard Podcast is brought to you by these cool dudes.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tony from RedBeard Podcast, and I got my buddy with me, Cooley. What's going on, dude?
What up, kid?
Not much, dude. Hey, we got some stuff to talk about, man, because we went to Rhode Island Comic-Con, and we are just going to talk all about that.
Yeah, we are.
But before we start, you and I just found this out, and guys, this is right up our alley. But I was online, and I just realized that for those of you who are familiar with Amityville Horror, it looks like the house just sold for $850,000.
Which is a steal.
A steal.
A steal.
Why, though? Because it comes with what? You have 5 bedrooms.
Yeah.
3.5 bathrooms.
3.5.
A boathouse and a slip and...
Demons.
So you get all that stuff and more.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, you know? The possibilities are endless.
You can't put a price on demons, kid.
You can't put a price on demons. You don't know what you're getting, dude. It's like a surprise box. You know what I mean? You could get like a ghost that might, close the windows if it's raining, or a ghost that will just rape you in your sleep.
Yeah, I mean,
you never know.
And not all demons are assholes. I mean, some are pretty chill.
Yeah, and then some just
they just don't want to be in hell anymore. So
no. Some mess with you so bad that you just decide to leave your house in the middle of the night and just forget about all your belongings and never come back.
Yeah, you probably got a lot of stuff in the house that got left behind, right?
A lot of stuff, dude. It's like everything.
Yeah,
they left
fully
everything
furnished
behind. Do you need a can opener? Got it. So it's there with some clothes that are not your size. Anyway, so you thought that was kind of cool to mention, because I literally saw that before we were starting to record and flipped out. So you know what's funny, man? Becca and I were coming back from New York, and I saw the Amityville exit. I felt like shit that day. If I didn't feel like crap, I would have literally driven to 112 Ocean Avenue and literally checked out the house. They did remodel it slightly. So you might not know it's the house because they changed
the windows.
The windows so they don't look eyes anymore. But...
I saw that on the what was it? The My Amityville Horror documentary. They had talked about how they remodeled the house so that it didn't have that really creepy look.
Exactly. But if you guys go on MSN.com, you can see the article. It's up right now. It's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go by and knock on the door and just get a tour. But anyway,
what's this giant pig-headed thing? Answer it.
Hello. Oh shit. Wrong house. Get out. But anyway, so next thing is I had to talk about this too, and I mentioned this to you earlier, and it's kind of funny and slightly fucked up. But so some dick on Twitter decided to text Michael J. Fox, or tweet at him rather. Everybody's going around the mannequin craze is kind of like the new Harlem Shake online. Everybody's trying to do it.
Yeah.
And somebody tweeted at Michael J. Fox, and they said, "Hey, Michael J. Fox, are you going to do the mannequin challenge? Yeah or nah, right?" And Michael J. Fox could have gone off on this guy, but he decided to get back at him in the coolest way. He just sent him back a tweet that said, SMH, shaking my head, which I think is the coolest way to respond to that. Literally just reverse trolled this guy.
Yeah.
So it was awesome, man. And the guy literally didn't know what to say. And people made fun of him because Michael J. Fox got the best of him. Good for him, man. Good for him, taking that comment and just flipping it on this dude. I love it. So anyway, needed to be talked about.
Was he shaking his head in disgust, or because he couldn't help himself?
I think he was shaking his head, but I think there was another part to the tweet where it was
I get it. I know.
Yeah.
But I was just making a.
I was
joke.
just trying to go along with it and be serious. But that's not okay. That fell through. Anyway, so you know what? But guys, let's move on. We got to talk about this. This is the focus of this week's episode. Cooley and I went to Rhode Island Comic-Con as press this year. And just had such a great time, man. Why don't you talk about that? You can start it off, man. The opening ceremony itself was cool.
Yeah, man. You're standing there, and it's got this police tape line, which is basically doubling as the ceremonial ribbon for the event. Behind the line, you've got these Star Wars characters standing there. You've got Kylo Ren. You've got some stormtroopers. You've got some clone troopers. You've got
R2-D2.
R2-D2 rolling around that was built by the R2-D2 Makers Club, which is this awesome group of people that like build R2s, and they're like freaking like $10,000 units, man. Like you don't realize how expensive it is to build R2, but I mean, geez, you remember talking to the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, I don't know. Anyway,
that one's 10, that one's 15. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, this one has working doors. This one doesn't, and this one's made out of wood. This one's made out of steel. It's like, it's ridiculous the amount of detail that goes into them. But I mean, you had that rolling around. You had, zombies.
Yep.
Right? There was a zombie Abraham.
Dead Abraham.
Yeah.
He smashed in head Abraham. Yeah, dude.
There was a zombie bride and like this other zombie dude like crawling around on the ground. And it was just really cool. And then here comes Mayor Jorge Elorza.
Yeah. Comes
out and starts giving like a little talk and stuff like that. And he's talking about how he wants to, work with the guys that, brought Rhode Island Comic Con here, Altered Reality Entertainment, to do more.
Yeah, totally.
Which is great. I think what this convention does for Rhode Island and for Providence in general is just, it's outstanding, man, as far as just boosting the economy, bringing people into the state.
There was an influx of 80,000 people into Rhode Island this past weekend.
Sick.
That's insane, dude. That's insane.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing about the opening ceremony was Ric Flair.
Yeah, Ric Flair, man, he was awesome. Came out and kind of just like, said some stuff, did like the woo, like everybody was going crazy, like, so they were like, oh, please welcome Ric Flair, and just hear like 100 people behind me just go woo. So, but it's like, but they were like, Wicked Psyched he was there. He's like, he definitely aged, but I mean, it was cool to see him. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm waiting for them to like cut the ribbon. But then they started playing the Walking Dead theme. Yeah. And then these like zombies all started coming forward, like crawling. And then they just like started to bite the ribbon in half. And that was the way they opened it.
It was awesome.
And if you guys go to RedBeardPodcast.com or Instagram, RedBeard Podcast, you can see these videos that we took. Some really great footage. All of our stuff is on RedBeardPodcast.com. So check out everything there. I mean, you can see all the footage and all the stuff we got. So, and that is like one of the first things we posted. So it was a very cool opening ceremony. And obviously, dude, anytime you go to any con, but Comic-Con specifically, I mean, the cosplay is like off the hook. Yeah. Like some of these people are insane. Like there are cosplayers that we've talked about before, and we like to call them halfway cosplay. Hashtag halfway cosplay. Because it's like you'll have somebody who has like a really cool mask, but then they're just wearing like sneakers and a shirt.
Trademark and copyright RedBeard Podcast, by the way.
Exactly. Halfway cosplay. So
yeah.
So, there's that, but then there's also the other, spectrum of people who obviously put some serious money into these costumes. I mean, just the makeup on some of these people is like a couple hours of planning before they walk out their door. Yeah. Like it's insane. And I honestly think that when they come to these conventions, like they have to take into account like what kind of transportation they're taking to get there. Like you can't just like get into your car as the Lord of Darkness. Like I want to know, like this girl's dressed up convertible. Like the Lord of Darkness with these huge freaking horns, like latex, like crazy, man. Like there's no way that she just like pulled up and put this on her head. Like this girl obviously like was a one-piece unit on the way. Yeah. So she must have like hired a flatbed truck.
Or rode with her head out the window like a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Tongue out. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, some of these people were sick. Like, dude, the Wonder Woman, the Batman in like the legit like Ben Affleck suit.
Yeah, it was
like insane.
Incredible.
With the voice box. He had a voice box, like changing his voice.
No, that was the other dude.
That was African American Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how you were like Black Batman had a voice box.
Yeah.
So it was kick ass, man.
He must have been like Earth 2 Batman.
Seriously. I like how he went up to the other Batman. He's like, nice costume.
Yeah. How did you get the eyes to glow?
Seriously. So, what was your favorite, man? Because I know you had a couple that stuck out to you.
No, like I think at Rhode Island Comic Con, I found more people at Rhode Island Comic Con that had amazing costumes than I did at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I saw some really good costumes at New York Comic Con. Matter of fact, a group of girls that were at New York Comic Con actually ended up at Rhode Island Comic Con cosplaying like the same like characters that they did in New York, and like they do a great job.
And professional Thor, Chris Hemsworth,
yeah,
walking around.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth's body double, man. That dude is like he's spitting image of Chris Hemsworth, except he's not as jacked.
Yeah, not as jacked.
Yeah.
No, good. You flipped out over like girl with a nice ass doing like Spider-Man backpack made out of a web. Like
the webbing backpack is the shit.
Yeah, that was
like
cool.
That's like, I mean, yeah, I got to say that they might take the cake, man. But yeah, but just because that's just so original. I've never seen the webbing backpack, and that's something that you see in the comic books all the time. Yeah. But nobody's ever done that in cosplay form. It was awesome.
Yeah,
and it was pretty simple too. It was just like some white rope that they kind of wrapped around. I don't even know what it was, but it looked like maybe like a helmet bag or something like that.
Yeah,
and it was like. It was just wrapped around it in a way that it looked like Spider-Man's webbing, and it was awesome.
Yeah, they did a really good job. That's actually on our Instagram at RedBeard Podcast, so you can see all of the pictures there. A lot of the cosplay stuff. There's really cool. The one that really stuck out to me,
the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, the Silver Surfer was cool, man.
Dude, like, all right, so let's just talk about the creativity behind it. I mean, like, it's cool that he painted himself silver or made himself up to be silver and walked around with a tinfoil like covered board that was shaped like a surfboard. Great. But the creativity behind it, the thing that really stood out to me was the fact that he was wearing beach shorts.
Yeah, he was.
Right? and carrying a beer and had his Comic-Con lanyard on. And it was just the coolest friggin' thing. Like, because it just looked like Silver Surfer was on vacay and just chilling at Comic-Con. It was awesome.
Well, that's what you said. You were like, even Silver Surfer needs a break or something like that.
He needs a day to chill.
A day to chill, yeah. I think one of the cool ones that really stuck out to me, because I just thought it was like, I don't know, I just thought it was really cool, man. And it was a combo of two people together that have no, like, they haven't been in a movie together yet. But it was Tony Stark, but he was like Tony Stark with like, Iron Man 2 carrying like the briefcase that turns into a suit with like the hand that, he's already got on, right? But he's got like, he had grown out the facial hair to look like him. He had like the glasses, like the spiked up black hair. Like he looked like exactly like him, like even like body type.
Dude, and from a distance, like, I mean, like we were, I forget where we were. We were coming down the escalator. That's what it was. From a distance, like, I swore that Robert Downey Jr. was in the convention center.
Yeah, no, he looked like very close to it. It was he could be his body double. And
I mean, it's easy to put on an Iron Man suit with a helmet and a mask, right?
Yeah.
And come in and be like, oh, it's Iron Man. But to come in and be Robert Downey Jr.,
yeah,
that's saying something. He did a good job, man.
You got to have a look right off the bat. You can't just change your face. But like he definitely looked the part, and also Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like this little girl was walking around dressed up as Rocket. And
she was cute.
And she was. And it was cool because you got them to both pose together. And she did like the perfect like Rocket pose like next to Iron Man. And he's like holding up his hand with the light that worked on his hand. So that's also on Instagram. Check it out. It was just such a cool picture. Like, it's probably one of my favorite pictures because I just think she kills it as Rocket. And they both look great together.
But yeah, props to everybody, man. Props to everybody.
Everybody.
I mean, I'm giving some specifics. Tony's giving some specifics, and I just got to give props to everybody that came out and represented and put out a lot of hard work into getting their costumes together and doing their thing, man. Like this stuff, a lot of these folks put these things together, like. They're fashion people. Like they actually they sew all their own stuff. They have mannequins in their house that they put these clothes on and like put them together and make sure everything fits properly. And they're awesome. They're awesome.
No, they kill it, man. I mean, they definitely do a good job. One of the favorites I know that also stuck out to you, just bringing another one up quickly, was Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
She was up against the Batmobile and just looked the part, man.
Yeah, she was just doing it, man. She was like, the cameras were going off. You could see the flashes going, and she's out there posing and, batting her eyelashes and doing her thing and just being Jessica Rabbit. And it was really, really cool.
But she didn't look like cartoon Jessica Rabbit.
No.
She looked like real life Jessica Rabbit. You know, not like I can't remember her name, but she's a model that did it. She was one of the judges on America's Got Talent. I forgot her name, the blonde, but she did. She actually did a Jessica Rabbit, but like had like latex put on and all these different stuff, and it looked not right.
Yeah.
Because you can't make a cartoon on a human person come to life. Like, it just didn't look weird. It looked like a person with a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah, it looked like somebody with, like, Botox injections.
Exactly. But this girl just kind of, like, killed it. So, like, Jessica Rabbit, like, I could honestly be like, oh, that girl's
if Botox
hot.
is your thing, that's cool. But I'm just saying, that's what it looked like.
It shouldn't be. Anyway, so, moving on. I mean, we also got we got to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of great artists. Just to kind of name a few of these people, and we'll talk about them, individually for a little bit. Once again, everybody that we're going to mention, there's an interview on RedBeard Podcast, be it audio or video. It is on the site, guys, so check it out. But one of the guys that stuck out to me as far as artists goes, I just want to jump into Graham Nolan. That guy was super cool. And you know a little bit more about Graham Nolan than I did off the bat. But after meeting this guy, I found out a lot more about him. But I'll let you kind of take this one because this was like your boy.
Yeah, man. He first of all, he was just an amazing person. Like right from jump. I mean, like we approached him, we talked to him, we said hello, and like he was just super nice, man. Super, super nice.
And not to mention that, like, he clearly works out. like this guy talking, he's like posing for his own superhero pictures.
Yeah, like I pointed that out. Like I'm looking at his stuff and he's drawing. And I was looking at like his references, his reference photos, and it was like straight up just him, like just posing and flexing. And I was like, dude, you work out so that you could be your own model, huh? And he was like, yeah.
But I like how he just said it. He was like, yeah.
Yeah, he was like mad modest about it. And but I mean, I was like, dude, I know it costs a lot to like actually, hire somebody to pose the way you want them to pose. So of course you got to work out. And then he pointed at the picture of Bane that he did, and he was like, I didn't pose for that one. And
yeah.
But he created Bane.
That's what I didn't know off the bat, and dude, like hearing him talk about like the inception of that character and how it came about was like that was the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, and like co-created Bane, I should say. Him and Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon is a writer for DC Comics. They both worked on Batman primarily for a very long time, and Nightfall, which is where Bane was introduced, is like the iconic series that they worked on. And just like talking to him, like you said, about how he did it and like the reasons why, he's dressed the way that he's dressed. He was going to be a luchador, which would have been awesome even if he didn't have his mouth covered and if they had a traditional luchador mask. But DC wanted him to be more villain-like, more comic booky. So like they covered up his whole face, gave him the red eyes. But the cool thing that he pointed out that they haven't done in the comic books yet, and you're hearing it here first, or in the interview if you watch the interview, but but you're hearing it through us first anyway.
Yeah.
The belt on Bane is actually like a utility belt, and it holds cartridges of venom that he kind of slaps into his wrist to reload, and then he presses the button to feed the venom into his veins, which is how he gets all pumped up and kicks the shit out of people. But they never show it in the books, which is weird.
But didn't they do that in Batman Forever, like with Val Kilmer? Like, didn't they do that because that was or Batman and Robin? Like, I feel like there was a point where like
I've blocked so much of those movies out of my head because like
I'm not saying they were good movies.
No, I'm just saying I've literally like they're in a blocked away corner of my mind. It's like trauma.
As soon as Val Kilmer, and Don Carrara and I love Val Kilmer, but like as soon as like Val Kilmer was like, this is why Superman works alone, I was like, fuck this movie. And that was in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, the best part of that movie was Jim Carrey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones was awful as Two-Face.
But we talked about this too with Graham. How they handle Bane in the movies has been atrocious. I mean, like in the Batman movie that he was in, which is that movie.
Well, he said that was a little bit more close to the comic book. But the Bane in the Christopher Nolan, the look, he said that was trash.
Yeah.
He's like, that wasn't Bane at all. He goes, I don't even know what that was.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that because
I've been saying that, and like people like I'll
Yeah.
talk when I talk about The Dark Knight Rises, and I say I hate that movie. Everybody looks at me and they're like, "Come on, man, that shit was great. It's fucking, you know."
I took it for what it
Christopher
was.
Nolan and
Yeah.
and it's that Batman Begins saga, and how can you say that about this fucking awesome trilogy? And it's like that was the movie that tanked the trilogy for me.
Yeah, well, I think the one thing they really just left straight out is that, and Graham Nolan said this. He was like, you know what? The thing about that movie, he goes, that kind of didn't make any sense. He said is that Bane didn't have. He was just a big guy, but he didn't have any venom that was making him big. He was just this big guy. He goes, and I don't like the fact that you find out at the end of the movie that he's actually powerless. He's not the one who's controlling all this. It was this girl behind
Talia.
the whole Talia, who was actually the one behind it. You know, she's the mastermind. It wasn't even Bane, which took all the power away from him. And I thought that was a really interesting point.
Yeah, and just like a quick to everybody out there, just to anybody who's not like a huge Batman fan, like outside of the movies, Talia, her character is she's Ra's al Ghul's daughter, right? So Liam Neeson's character, she's his daughter, and she is literally paired with Batman, Bruce Wayne, by Ra's al Ghul because he believes that he is the perfect suitor for his daughter. Mm-hmm. And they have a relationship. They do what they need to do to make a kid, and they make a kid who is Damian Wayne, who later on goes on to become Robin because he goes to live with his father. Mm-hmm. All of that was just fucking destroyed in Christopher Nolan's work because he just completely decided to go left from where the comics were and just decided to do his own thing. Great that he's doing his own thing. I mean, like the Joker was fantastic. Mm-hmm. That worked out, but this didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if anything, it was just cool to kind of hear everything from him because he's, you know, it's hearing like, you know, it's from the mouth of the horse, you know, and it was cool to hear his perspective. But if you guys want to hear the whole interview, it's again on RedBeardPodcast.com. You can see the whole thing. It's you know, video. Check it out. There's also the audio is on the site as well.
Oh, and he's got something coming up with Chuck Dixon.
He does.
Next year. He couldn't talk about what it is, but trust me, if it's anything like their past work, it's going to be off the charts.
Definitely. One of the other artists that I really wanted to just give a shout out to was Corey Smith. Guys, look this guy up online, man. Corey Smith, Facebook. Like, you can find him on Twitter, everywhere. He doesn't sell any of his work online because he wants you guys to, you know, come to the conventions and see it in person, which I strongly recommend. He's at like every convention because his work is fucking awesome. I've seen this guy multiple times. You know, our buddy Don, who's you know, been on my podcast, my solo show, and also who's been on here a couple times. You know, he was our photographer this con, as he usually is. And, you know, he has bought Walking Dead art from him, you know, with Rick and with Daryl. And he bought something else this time around. I forget exactly what it was. But I actually bought a Predator work of art from him because you guys know I have an obsession with that shit. But I bought it, and it was awesome. And he you know, for like, I think it was like $35. He, you know, gave me a print and colored in the eyes whatever color I want. I chose green. If you check out the Corey Smith interview on the site, you'll be able to see a picture of him and I holding up the print that I bought, which is really cool. And you can kind of see some of the others in the background. But, you know, I don't really want to talk too much about that because I want you guys to listen to the interview because he talks about how he does his work, why it's different from others, why he doesn't sell his work online. Really cool stuff. So check that out.
That Predator print is awesome, too.
It really is, dude. I mean, it's unlike anything I've seen, which is why I bought it, because there's a lot of Predator shit out there. But that's an original work that you can't get anywhere else. So that's why I kind of decided to buy that. We also had the friggin' awesome chance, again, for the second time, to talk to Ming Chen from Comic Book Men.
Yeah, man.
This guy is just so chill. That's what I like about Ming Chen. Is like, we were like, hey, man, we talked to you at Walker Stalker, you know, we have podcast. He's like, yeah, that's right. I remember you guys. He's like, oh, yeah, podcast. That's a magic word. Let's do it. Like,
yeah.
You know, he's just so chill. He's like down
like
for
we
it.
weren't ready for him, and he was just like, let's do it. And I was like, all right, we'll be back. And he was like, oh, all right, cool. I'll be ready.
Yeah, you know what
if
I mean?
I'm standing here, just come over.
Yeah. But it was just like weird because like we wanted some time to walk around and feel the place out, and maybe think of some good questions for him. But it was good to get. I love getting Ming's perspective on things because he's just a comic book connoisseur, which is why he's on Comic Book Men with Kevin Smith. I mean, this guy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we talked about The Walking Dead and the introduction of Negan. And if you guys want to know what Ming's perspective is on that, definitely check out the interview because he definitely goes into depth about it, where he kind of thinks the show's going, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's interpretation or portrayal of Negan. So interesting stuff there. Super cool guy. And there's another guy I want to talk about. This other artist is kick-ass, man. His name is Hector Rodriguez. He's got a comic book out called Hell's Blood. You want to check it out. It's awesome. But one of the things is he does these really cool things that I'm going to post on the site for you guys to see. It's actually they're basically like superhero mashups. Or just like mashups in general. Like it was like a Joker Wolverine, a Hulk Superman. He also had like a Harley Quinn Negan, and there was another one that I bought that I can't remember what it was. I think I bought 3 from him. And then also he gave us a couple other prints, which I picked up from him. But I want to we're gonna do something. We're gonna do a giveaway. So what I want you guys to do is listen up because this is the way it's gonna run. So basically, if you want to win these, and I'm going to post a picture of them on the site so you can actually see what the prints are, but they're Walking Dead based. So make sure that you go online and you check them out. We have one of Daryl, and there's another one of, I think it was Michonne.
Yeah.
So, basically, all we want you guys to do is, retweet the tweets for your chance to kind of win the Walking Dead print. Also, if you do end up being the winner, we want you to just, take a picture and, share that with us on Twitter. Hit us up, at RedBeard Podcast so we can see that you won the print, that you enjoy it. And also, just make sure that you're retweeting our stuff. That's kind of what we want. But, if you retweet the tweet that we put out, with it, you're going to be entered in a chance to win, and we're going to kind of pick a winner. So
yeah, and if you win, give a shout out to Hector Rodriguez, the man behind the print that you win, because he's awesome. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have them to give to you guys.
Exactly, he was super cool, man. He didn't have to kind of give these to us, but he did. Because he wants you guys to to have something that's original and that nobody else has out there. Also, one thing to kind of throw out there is. There is one print, and I'm kind of going to do a little bit of Where's Waldo right now, but in one of the prints, Hector Rodriguez is actually in the print as like a zombie.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is he's wearing a backwards hat. So if you see him, that's Hector Rodriguez all zombied out, which I thought was pretty cool that he put himself into the print. So pretty cool.
Hey, a little twist on this maybe, because we have a second one.
Oh, yeah, we have 2.
Maybe the first one is going to be what we just said. That'll be the first contest. The second contest is from the first picture, find Hector Rodriguez, and from there we'll pick randomly who gets the second print.
Definitely. Yeah. If you see him, you got to retweet it, and you basically got to, retweet the photo and be like, I found, hashtag at RedBeard Podcast, Hector Rodriguez, hashtag Hector Rodriguez.
So give us a little bit of time because I'm going to get a nice high-quality scan so that you guys can actually see the picture, and we'll post it to the site. We'll put it up on Twitter and Instagram and have at it, man. And whatever, and you retweet, you find Hector Rodriguez, you get the second print.
Definitely. And also, make sure that you guys like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, like us on every freaking social media, on YouTube. We're there, man. All of our videos are there. All the audio's there. Check us out, guys. Couple of the things I want to talk about is Comic-Con, man. Now, we also met some really kick-ass celebrities.
Oh, but wait.
What do you want to talk about? Go.
Daryl Petrucci, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
We almost didn't mention Daryl Petrucci.
Well, no, Daryl Petrucci was there. I was going to kind of bring him up in another thing. It was Predator-related, but we can get to him now. Let's get to him now, then.
Yeah.
So, Daryl Petrucci, man, Cooley actually brought this guy to my attention. Once again, because I'm Predator alien obsessed. How many times, dude, when we were walking around?
There's Predator. It was like, I felt like I was in National Lampoon's Vacation, right? Look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament, right? Like, and I'm just like, look, Predator, alien.
It's stuff that like I didn't even. It was just like it found me. It was weird.
Look, Cooley, face hugger.
Yeah. So, so you saw it and you were just like, hey, yo, you got to check out this guy, man. Like, he's got this awesome print. It was. So what I liked about this guy is that, first of all, he does amazing art. He's an incredible artist, right? And he does a lot of horror-based stuff, which I like. Mm-hmm. It's down and gritty and like, it's kind of got like dark. Yeah, I love that shit. I'm a big horror fan. But this print was really cool because he did it for a class that he was taking, and it had to be kind of like a battle scene. Mm-hmm. And he wanted it to be, rather than kind of like a bird's eye view, he wanted it to be from the perspective of actually being in the battle, which I thought was cool. So, like, you're basically standing there as a perspective of seeing, like, basically a predalien, which is basically a alien that is taking somewhat of a predator, form with like the fangs. Mm-hmm. So you see that, and it's facing off against a predator. There's two predators in the background holding spears and holding up aliens by the face, and then you got these three other. It's like you're in the middle of an alien predator war, and it was really cool the way that he did that, and he had kind of like green tones to it. It was just a massive battle scene, and he did this for his class, and he killed it. And he said, his professor really liked it.
Yeah.
So he ended up making it like a print. And you guys can hear more about this, on the interview that we have with him. But he was super cool, ultra talented artist. I really like the stuff that he does. And
he's from Rhode Island.
And I was going to just let you talk about that. He's from Rhode Island because you knew these guys before I did. So
yeah,
go for it.
So my buddy Ryan, who was at the convention, I grew up with him. He's my brother. Basically, knows the guy from school. Right?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, you got to meet my boy Daryl. And I'm like, all right, well, where's he at? And he's like, oh, he's got a booth. And I'm, get the fuck out of here, right? So
yeah,
I'm like, all right, yeah. So he introduces me to Daryl and really cool dude. And like you said, his art is fantastic. Like, it's like, it blew my mind that this dude is, he went to classical with my boy. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's like, wow, same state. Same school as my best friend, right? And it's like mind blowing to me. His artwork is ridiculous.
It was, man, and I can't remember his name.
Super photorealistic.
Oh yeah, no, dude, seriously, that's right on the money.
He said he spends more time getting the likenesses down than anything else. Like he has a Wonder Woman print that he said took him like 2 weeks, and most of the time most of that 2 weeks was spent just getting the likeness down of Gal Gadot. And it looked just like her.
Yeah, he killed it.
Yeah.
The other guy, too, that was with him was his assistant, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was funny because, like, the whole time I was like, so what do you do, man? Like, he's like, I'm the assistant. He's like, I get pizza and beer. I was like, I love this guy. Like, he made me laugh my ass off half the time during the interview because he just like, I'm like, yeah, man, so what print do you like? He's like, pizza and beer. So he was really cool, man. But these guys were super cool, man. And the fact that they're from Rhode Island is just like another shout out to Rhode Island. I mean, we have a lot of talented artists in Rhode Island.
Providence is the creative center of the creative capital of the world, right?
Yeah, man. There's
United States. Paris might be something else has to be the creative capital of the world, right?
Providence. It's Providence.
Is it?
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
RISD.
RISD. Yeah, RISD. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. There you go. That's it. Case closed. But moving on, just to get into these celebrities that we met. Some of these celebrities are awesome. It's always you take a chance when you meet a celebrity. You don't know if they're going to be as cool as you would hope. But I think every single celebrity that we met was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, considering here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people are like, oh, this celebrity's a dick, or he's an asshole, or it's this. But I mean, a lot of people don't realize that these guys, like, we're approaching them after tons of people have already talked to them and asked them pretty much the same questions we're probably going to ask them, and they're probably just expecting the same old. And
which is why you got to do your research.
Yeah, so
figure out what questions have not been asked.
We try to ask questions that are not common.
Right.
Even if I have to dig back to like, season 1 because like they've already answered questions about season 2 and 3. Like I've got to go back into my Rolodex here of things to ask and pull out something that hasn't been asked in the last 2 days. You know what I mean? Because like these people are like over and over and over and over again the same stuff. So like, yeah, when you get somebody and you're asking them the same questions, they might be a little bit of a jerk or come off that way. But that's not their personality. It's just they're sick of answering the same shit.
Yeah, but then again, we were lucky enough to not really encounter that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We actually had great interviews. People were gracious. They were super, accepting of us asking questions and knowing that we were going to kind of share this interview with you guys. And I think that was a good thing. And the one guy that we were not able to get an interview with, but were able to talk to, was somebody that I wanted to meet last year, but he canceled last minute, but did show this year and was there the entire weekend. And that was Brent Spiner. If you guys don't know who Brent Spiner is, he played Data in Star Trek, also played Dr. Oaken in Independence Day. And this guy was just so cool. So Don Cooley and I...
And you look just like him.
Oh, God. Yeah, but you didn't notice that until that
You look just like Brent Spiner.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Hey, listen, did anybody tell you look like Brent Spiner? He's your father.
Who are you? So this random guy...
And he says, I want to be the one to break the ice on that. And then he just walked away.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to hang out with us, but then he just turned around and walked away, and he walked to another line and started yelling at them.
Yeah, okay, don't make it like that we were like disappointed that he walked away. Thank God he did.
Listen,
because I would have told him, dude, you need to get away.
I was a little disappointed because I wanted to see you say, dude, you need to get away. Like, I wanted that to happen, but...
I did not want that guy near me when I was talking to Brent Spiner because obviously I think he had some kind of like issue going on. Like I think something was off. Like he wasn't mentally right. I mean, nice guy, but like I think he had something going on. But like he just like shouted out. He's like, "Oh my God! Like anybody tell you look like Brent Spiner? He looks like your dad." I was like, "Okay." And I kind of like started thinking about it. I'm like, maybe he's right, but that's weird because I never thought that. But then like, anyway, but I went up to, we got to meet him.
And then he started yelling at the Red Ranger or whatever the fuck it was.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, not the Green Ranger, the White Ranger. He was like every color. I think he was like one of every color. He was like black, white, and green anyway.
Well, when you were walking around later, I think it was the next day in the convention.
Jason.
He was also, Michael Cudlitz actually was, like he was yelling in line when he was getting ready to be Michael Cudlitz. Michael Cudlitz goes, "Hey," he goes, "What are you getting loud about?" And then he goes, and then this guy goes, he goes, "I'll tell you when I talk to you." And Michael Cudlitz turns around and he goes, "What is he looking at?" I go, "He just saw DJ Qualls Blaze, a new guy," and he goes, "Oh," he goes, "All right, whatever." Like, and dude, I didn't tell you. We'll get back to Brent Spiner in a second, but Michael Cudlitz and I had this really cool moment, and I forgot to tell you about this. Don didn't even see it happen. So we're in line, like this backed up line to meet Michael Cudlitz, right? Yeah. And he's taking selfies with people. You can pay like $35, $40 for him to take a selfie with you, right? So he's holding this girl's phone up, and I'm standing literally like off to the side, but in front of him. And I'm just watching him take a selfie with this girl, right? But he must have felt me watching him take the picture but what am I supposed to do? Like, he's right there.
Yeah.
It's Abraham. I'm like, I'm just going to watch this happen.
Yeah.
So like anybody else would. So he's holding.
It's like watching an episode of The Walking Dead.
Exactly.
With phones.
Right.
Yeah.
So exactly. Except it's not. It's the apocalypse. So he holds up the phone, right? And he does this move, like, so he holds up the phone, right? And he's about to take a selfie, and like you're looking at him, and he just goes. Yeah. He looks back, like he literally he stopped looking at the camera and looked at me to kind of just freak me out. And I like backed up and looked away, and he started laughing. And I was like, and I literally turned around, and I was like, "Oh man." And I looked at Don. He goes, "What's the matter?" I go, "I don't know. Abraham just eyed me." And he started laughing. I was like, "That was good, man." He's like, "Nah, it was funny." So, and then I met him later with Don, and I said to him, I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Nice job. You're killing it on the show." And I forgot who else said something. Somebody said something about him being in some other show. I forgot what it was. Ballers. They were like, "Oh, nice job in Ballers."
That was me.
That was you.
Dick.
Well, no, you. I had a feeling it was, but you showed up out of nowhere,
Yeah, I
towards
did.
the end. Yeah, you were like, "Oh, nice job in Ballers," and
I
then
did.
like,
I saw that you guys were actually talking to him. I was like, "Hey, I'm part of that group."
yeah. And then I walked over and then I tapped him on the shoulder and I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Mighty Ducks 3," and he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "I'll take it." So, but he was awesome, wicked cool guy. But back to Brent Spiner. I mean, Brent Spiner was super cool. While we were waiting in line, he kind of came out and talked to the people. He's like, "Guys, I know it's been a little bit of a wait. Thanks for being patient. Just so you know, it's well worth the wait to meet me."
Yeah.
And we were like, cool.
And it was.
And it was, dude. He took the time. He takes the time with his fans. We literally talked to him about 4 minutes, from everything to like randomly the election. I was
he just started talking
Why are
politics,
we talking
like,
about
immediately.
politics? This is not the conversation I want to have with you. But I kind of swayed that. I was like, hey, just want to give you a shout out because obviously you guys can't hear this, so I'm going to kind of recap it. But, I was like, nice job in Independence Day. I was like, what was like the kind of take on that character like 20 years after the first movie? He was like, oh, it was a great time. He's like, Dr. Oaken is a great character. I was like, yeah, man, you nailed it. I was like, after 20 years, it's awesome. He's like, I appreciate that. He's like, we actually signed on. I signed on for the second and third movie. He goes, but after, seeing the box office sales of the second one, it didn't really go over too well. He goes, probably not going to happen. And then we started laughing. But, and I also said to him, this was really cool for me, personally. I said, I know this is probably more of an underrated movie, but it's probably one of my favorite roles of yours. I really liked you in Out to Sea as the cruise director. And he started laughing. He goes, wow, that's funny you said that, because the family that I was just talking to asked me what my favorite role was, and I said that it was Out to Sea because I got to work with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. And that was cool for me to hear, because I didn't think that, that might have been just kind of like a throwaway role for him.
Yeah.
But he really liked the fact that I knew about that movie, and I really appreciated it, because he's a great singer. He's a great actor. He's actually very funny. Brian Allsworth reminded me today that he's like a weird Canadian character in like Night Court.
Yes.
And I totally forgot about that. And obviously, guys, I mean, come on, the guy killed it as Data in Star Trek for years.
Yo, I don't know, because I obviously don't watch My Little Pony, but he's actually the voice of the bad guy pony or whatever.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
in My Little Pony.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I wish I knew that when we fucking talked to him.
because I was watching a documentary on bronies, because the culture is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, it is.
Because it just blows my mind.
It's
but
kind of weird to me.
Yeah,
I
I'm saying.
I don't get it.
I'm saying, but and he feels the same way that we feel about the bronies, and he's just like, I don't understand it. That was like his, whenever they cut to him, he's like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just did this as just for fun.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Cool story, brony. But anyway, yeah, super cool guy, man. We had such a great time talking to him. Just such an awesome experience. So if you guys have the opportunity to meet Brent Spiner, do it. LZ told me today what her interaction was. She waited in line and she had the press pass on, and she walks up and he goes, hey, he goes, what's going on? She goes, yeah, I just want to say that I like your work and I appreciate you and thank you. And she gave him a hug and he was like, oh, thanks. But she was like, he's so cool. I was like, and I love the fact that she got to do that. That's so cool.
Yeah, we talked with him for 2 seconds about Outcast.
Oh yeah, Outcast towards the end.
And he was very gracious about it. He was thankful that we mentioned it, and he thanked me for saying that he was great in his role in that show. He went on to say that season 2 is in the books, and he said it's much better than season 1. And when he said much better, he emphasized much.
Yeah, he did.
Season 1 was great.
It was, but it moved a little slow for me.
It was a little slow, but it was still it was well filmed. It was the acting in it was awesome. They have some really great cast members, and they all nail their roles and they do a great job. The story is perfect with the comic, but if season 2 is much better than season 1, holy shit!
I like how
I can't wait.
But I like how we were like, he was like, it's much better. He's like, can't tell you shit.
Yeah.
Like he didn't say that, but that's kind of the subtext.
Exactly. He was just wait. He said.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool, good enough for me.
So I mean,
He was awesome.
Yeah, Brent Spiner, awesome.
What about William Zabka, bro?
Oh God, what a cool fucking interview.
That
Guys,
dude was awesome, man. Like we approached him, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, can we get an interview? He's like, nah, man, nope. And like, I had my camera, my video camera, and
that scared him.
He was just like, nope. And then when we told him we were a podcast, he was like, do you do audio or video? And we were like, dude, we do whatever you want. He was like, audio? And I was like, yeah, audio. And he was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't want us to film. Like, I mean,
hey, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all good. I mean,
hey,
I would have loved to have video, like, so we could all like,
yeah.
But dude, audio is fine. That's what we do. That's the majority of our audience. Is
I mean, like,
audience.
I'm just gonna say, dude. I mean, like, no homo, but the guy looks like good for his age. Like
he does.
I don't know what he is like. I don't know if that's like what he was concerned about that, but I was like, man, Johnny's like looking good, man, killing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, still looks in shape.
Funny, but I didn't. So like, I recognized him after like a couple of minutes. Like, you look at him and you can kind of like see Johnny, right?
Yeah.
But when I saw the picture of him in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was Johnny when I saw Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was William Zabka.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that dude is funny, right? But then when I saw him there, I was like, oh, that's the dude from Hot Tub Time Machine.
What's funny, man, is actually like after we interviewed him, I saw like Hot Tub Time Machine was on, and I watched that and I saw the scene. I was like, shit, I wish I would have remembered this scene more clearly because
Right.
I would have asked him about it.
That scene's hilarious.
It is, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you gonna like bet's the bet. You gotta suck his dick. Yeah. I was like, that's fucking awesome. But this guy's hilarious.
Hey, did you go to Federal Hill?
Yeah. Oh my God. So let's talk about this. So I'll tell you anyway. So you can listen to the interview, but there's a couple of funny things that happened with him. So first of all, like I went up, the whole audio thing happened, but we got him. We asked him. We talked about Karate Kid. We talked about just one of the guys briefly. Now you guys know that one of the stupid scenes that Cooley and I had talked about back in a while on the podcast was I never understood the whole he gets his ass kicked by Daniel LaRusso, and then at the like 4 seconds later, Johnny comes up and hands him the trophy, and he's like, "You're all right, LaRusso." And I was like, that doesn't really make any sense to me. He went into depth about why that could make sense and what his view was on that. So listen to the interview to hear that on RedBeardPodcast.com. But the cool thing is that him being in Rhode Island, I wasn't aware that he's originally from New York. So he, one, didn't really think that we had an accent, and two, we asked him, we're like, have you been to Federal Hill? Because that's where the really good Italian food is. He's like, no, I haven't been there yet. So the next day we walk by, we're like, oh, what's up, man? He's like, hey, what's going on, guys? He's like, hey, you been to Federal Hill yet? He's like, no. I'm like, gotta go. He's like, yeah. So
then we did it again on day 3.
We did it. He probably never went, whatever. But it was just kind of funny to kind of have that cool relationship with you. And I like how, and I took this out of the interview because it was like background noise, but he was like, good talking to you guys. He's like, what is it? He's like, because we were like, it's Don, Cooley, and Tony from the RedBeard Podcast. And at the end, he goes, what is it? The Don Coolio and Tony show? I was like, yeah, man, it's Coolio. He sings Gangsta's Paradise. But no, he was cool shit, man. Like, actually a really down to earth cat. I'd love to hang out with him. And apparently I'm talking like I'm from the fucking 70s. But anyway, so he was cool.
So you asked him about the accent because we had talked to.
Yeah, dude.
We talked to DJ Qualls earlier.
DJ Qualls, man, what a freaking cool guy. He ruined Z Nation for you.
He did. No, but he didn't though, because he actually said the dog doesn't die.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But I
don't know which way is.
I think that he told you first, and then he was like, "Oh shit," because you called him out. You were like, "Asshole." You're like, DJ Qualls is an asshole. Like, it's in the interview. Watch the video, guys. Yeah. It's awesome. So,
but he
Foyle watched that today. He was dying, dude.
He apparently is fascinated by the Rhode Island accent.
Yeah, he wanted to know what it sounds like when Rhode Islanders have sex.
Yeah.
Like, yo, hotta. I was like, really? That's what you think of? All right. Yo, faster, harder. So that's not what we sound like. That's Boston.
He is a cool cat, man. He's funny. He's
chill.
Like he's always on when it comes to like the being like humorous. You know what I mean? He's always like he's always got a punchline. Like I asked him about like I told him like that I was like really impressed with some of his acting work, and he's just like, dude, that's all I do. That's my only job is to pretend.
And then I was like, yeah, dude. He was like, hey, do you know I'm an actor?
Yeah,
so.
like I mean, like that, like, but he's always on, like 100%, and like he's very witty.
He is.
So like I mean, a lot of his jokes, like you have to like realize that he's joking because like otherwise, like sometimes it just goes right over your head. Great dude, man. Great dude.
Super cool guy, man.
And he hates pumpkin.
Yeah, we had like pumpkin fudge, which will come full circle in a little while. He doesn't like it. We were like, oh, you want some fudge? He's like, I'd love some. We were like, oh, it's pumpkin. He's like, fuck that. So he
was like, good thing you told me.
Yeah, he's super cool. I mean, like he clearly admits he was like having a drink while he was talking to us. Like he was just so chill. And he's somebody I'd like to hang out with. I had the opportunity to ask him about Road Trip, which was his first film. And he gives us some enlightening information about what it was like to be on the cast. There was an actor that he didn't get along with, but when you listen to the interview, you'll be able to figure out who that was because he makes it pretty obvious.
Yeah, we talked to Shannon and Elizabeth.
Oh my God, she is so hot still. Shannon Elizabeth is like, oh my God, for her age. I'm not even gonna broadcast her age, but like IMDb it, like I never would have guessed it. She looks phenomenal for her age, and she is such a nice person, dude. And she is such a sweetheart.
Sitting right across from you.
Yeah. What?
Shannon and I are the same age, man.
But I'm not gonna
for her age. What are you?
No,
talking
I don't
about?
want to. I don't want to broadcast it. I want people to go check it out on their own. I don't want to tell her how. Like maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't want me to say it. I'm not saying it's a bad age. I'm just saying,
not. Shannon, you're
whatever.
Fine. Don't worry.
All right, fine. Fuck it. She's 42. She looks amazing. I never would have thought she was 42. She was so super cool. We got to talk to her about what her experience was on American Pie. We got to talk to her about her nonprofit called Animal Avengers, which you guys really need to look into. She's actually going to be moving to South Africa, and she'll explain why when you watch the interview. She is such a cool person, and I am so glad that I got a chance to talk to her because really it was probably, I want to say, one of the highlights of the convention for me. I was a little nervous to talk to her, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie, because like I grew up, like American Pie came out when I was a senior in high school. It was the summer that I was going into college, and going in and seeing Nadia, this like super attractive woman on stage, like I didn't expect her in American Pie to like take her clothes off, and then like she's super hot, and then like I'm actually talking to her like 10 years later. It was a little intimidating, but once I started talking to her, she was just so cool.
Yeah, like she was in a position where she could have been totally uncool.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
I didn't know what, yeah.
because she was super tired, like she was exhausted, and she said as much. Several times before we started the interview. Her dog was with her. Her dog was sleeping or trying to go to sleep.
Very well behaved.
Super well behaved. Cute as a button too, man.
Yeah,
I love that dog, man.
He was.
Love it. And just, I mean, yeah, she was great.
Well, because we asked her straight out the bat.
Never known.
No, we asked her straight off the bat. We're like, hey, you want to get an interview like later? Like, we would love to come back when you're not as busy. Maybe not. She's like, oh, come back. I'd love to talk to you guys. Like, she was so cool.
Yeah.
And I really like the way, like, because let's face it, when you do, I don't care who you are, but if you decide to do nudity in a film, that's a big step for any actor.
Yeah.
Like you're literally like, hey, this is me. I'm putting it out there, and you're immortalized on film. Like I can go back and watch American Pie right now and see it. And that can be scary for some actors that don't want to take that jump, and she did, and I give her credit for that. I really do. And talking about American Pie was something that I was nervous to do, but I did because I really wanted to know what her thought was on it, and the way she approached it and talked about it was like, hey, it was just a role. And I loved being a part of the movie. And I want, guys, if you want to hear the rest of it, check out RedBeardPodcast.com. She is so cool, super nice, and you owe it to yourself to check it out if you like the movie. It was awesome to talk to. And we checked out the Christian Slater panel, which was awesome.
We also talked to Mark Boone Jr.
I was going to get back to that, but,
all right.
but let's jump into it now.
Sorry.
Honestly, it's something we got to address.
Yeah.
He was Mark Boone Jr. This guy was in Sons of Anarchy. He also played Flash in Batman Begins.
Dude, I felt like I was interviewed. I felt like it was Sons of Anarchy, like live action, like right in front of me. Like I was in the middle of the show.
This guy.
The only thing that didn't happen was I didn't get beat up by Bobby.
I'm telling you, this guy is like on another planet, dude. Like I don't even know. Like it's funny. Okay, so we had fudge, right? Like fudge is like a theme. Cooley bought some pumpkin fudge, and we had just been like carrying it around for like an hour, like both like taking slices of it. And then we were like, we offered it to DJ Qualls, and he was like, I don't like pumpkin, fuck pumpkins. And then we went over to Mark Boone, and listen, all I'm gonna say is #possible substance. But he was like talking to us, and we were like, what's going on with this guy? Like,
so the first thing he says is,
get out of the frame.
Well, there's that. But before you started recording, what's in the box? And I was just like, fudge.
No. He was like, I feel like you want a favor.
No, that was the exact first thing that he said.
Yeah.
But he says, what's in the box? And I'm like, fudge. He goes, what kind of fudge? So I said pumpkin fudge. He goes, let me see that. Right? So he takes the box and he opens it up and he starts eating it. And Tony goes, hey, how's that fudge?
And he goes, fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Because I was kind of like making fun of him that he just like took our fudge and started eating it without asking. Like, fuck you, bro. But like, what are we going to like? We want the interview, so have some fudge.
Well, I mean, besides that, I mean, what am I going to say? No, Mark Boone Jr., you can't have any pumpkin fudge. Like, get the fuck out of here. I mean, come on.
But it was just funny because he acted like he was acting so strange, and we were like, he might be on something, but who knows if he actually was. But it was just funny because,
or maybe he was just, I don't know.
Maybe he was just being funny, dude.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
know, but he was hilarious.
He, I was dying through this because he was quick. He was quick with like, you know, if you asked him a question, he was quick with a comeback. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I got a question
I don't think you could do that like on a substance. I don't think you could be that quick witted.
Well, I like how I was like, do you mind if I ask you another question about Batman? He goes, you didn't ask me any questions about Batman. I was like, but I totally did though. I already did at that point. So the fact that he just like called me out on it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then, but I think the best part, and you guys will get to hear this, but just a kind of quick idea of what this interview was. We asked him a question, and he's eating the fudge. First of all, he puts it in his mouth, doesn't bite it, and then takes it out, and he's still got the whole piece, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, you know, it's weird. He goes, it's like, it tastes like pumpkin, but it also tastes like fudge. We're like, yeah, that's what it is.
I said, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Boone, everybody.
Boone, everybody. But, guys, honestly, like, Cooley's working on the Mark Boone interview specifically. He's going to release some stuff so you guys can see that.
I'm cutting it up and I'm releasing it in doses because I think it's just too much for anybody to handle.
It is.
So I'm releasing it in doses. You guys are going to get a kick out of it. Check it out on RedBeardPodcast.com and on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter.
Everything.
Yeah, I'm throwing it out there. Once a week, I'm going to drop some fun with Mark Boone Jr.
He was awesome, though. So
awesome.
And I really love the fact that we got to talk to him, man, because he was one of the highlights of the convention, too. But we moving on, just a couple more things we want to drop is we went to the Christian Slater panel, which I'm a big fan of Christian Slater, huge fan of the 80s. Loved him in True Romance, Cuffs, Young Guns 2, Untamed Heart. I mean, the list goes on. This guy's Pump Up the Volume. This guy's an awesome actor. And he was just chill. You know,
yeah.
And what I really like about Christian Slater is that I feel like he was kind of going downhill for a little bit. Like his career wasn't kind of took a turn for the worst. But then he, got booked for Mr. Robot, and this has been like the resurgence in his career. And it was really nice to see him kind of back on stage on top.
Well, he had Breaking In before that.
Well, yeah, but I feel like Mr. Robot has really kind of given him like the attention that he needs, kind of given him like attention with the next generation, and I really like that because if you watch him in Mr. Robot and you're like, who is this guy, Christian Slater? Oh, he's done all this other work. Let me check that out. Like It takes people back, and he and out of all the people that asked him questions, I was very surprised. Like, it was a lot of Pump Up the Volume fans, which is a great movie. 2 True Romance fans, which is great. Walken's in that, too. Dennis Hopper, a lot of great actors. James Gandolfini, R.I.P. Like, who's the other girl, too, from... she was a medium in a show. She was in... what the hell was the other name of that movie where you get the stigmata? I can't remember her damn name. But anyway, great actress. But she was in that movie too with him. Anyway, cool to talk to him. But somebody said Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and he had the actual action figure, which I thought was cool. That he agreed to sign and would give him back to him backstage, which I thought was awesome. But no one brought up Untamed Heart, which is a really great movie with
someone did.
No, nobody did.
Someone did, because I got home and I said that to court because she watched the whole thing because we Facebook Lived it.
Yeah.
And she watched the whole thing on Facebook Live, and I was like, I was surprised nobody brought up Untamed Heart. She was like, no, somebody did. It was real quick. Somebody had mentioned it, but it wasn't like nobody talked about it in depth.
I'd have to listen back,
to it again,
because that was what I was waiting for.
Because she made it a point, like she was very positive that somebody mentioned it because she is the one that turned me on to Untamed Heart. I had not seen it. Yeah,
such a sad movie, but good movie.
It is
probably one of Marissa Tomei's like best work. And it had Rosie Perez in it too. She's another actor that kind of vanished. She was in White Man Can't Jump. But, he was really gracious, really, really positive. One of the things I really liked about it being an actor, he talked about what his perspective is when going into an audition. And that was very interesting to me. Didn't know that his mother was a casting director, which obviously I think helped him in a lot of ways because he would sit in the waiting room and kind of be privy to like what casting directors talk about, which
I'd
be
interested in seeing, like... So his mom's a casting director. I'd be interested in seeing if she took the approach of, hey, it's my son, I want to give him a shot, or
do it on your own.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because like I know some people, especially in Hollywood, it's something in Hollywood to be, very, very strict and very, hey, you need to do this on your own. It can't be nepotism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you, it boosts your credentials. Because, hey, that's her son, and she skipped over him for somebody else for the role because she knew that was the better choice.
Right.
And I wonder if that was the case. I don't know, because we didn't even know that his mom was a casting director.
Until I saw the panel, yeah, totally.
So, I mean, that's something I definitely want to look into. I want to do some research on that just to see, because it's interesting. And I think that if that's the case with Christian Slater, there's got to be other people with that kind of relationship in the business. You know what I mean?
There is. I know they're out there. I can't think of them offhand.
Yeah.
But, I mean, regardless, the guy's got a presence. He was super cool. I wish I had met
any role he got, he deserved. He killed it.
Oh, God, yeah. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if you watch the panel, this is the last thing I got to talk about as far as Christian Slater goes, is that if you're familiar with Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, there's a section where Morgan Freeman and Kevin Costner get shot over on a catapult over the wall, and he says, "Fuck me, they cleared it." That was improv. I didn't know that, but I always found that line hilarious. So good to know that was improv. But wrapping it up, kind of with Christian Slater, check out the Facebook Live, guys. It's all there. You can see it firsthand. But I do want to talk about one more thing, and this is the the Walking Dead panel that we went to. The Walking Dead panel was great because we got to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan come out on stage. People cheered for him. People booed for him. It really was kind of like a 50-50, but it's great to see that fans booed him because that means he's doing his job.
Right.
And a lot of stuff on the Walking Dead panel that you can see Facebook Live. But I do want to say that I met Jeffrey Dean Morgan. firsthand with my buddy Don. And, I said to him, right off the bat, I was like, hey, man, I just want to say you're killing it on the show. I can't wait to see what's coming. And he was like, it's coming. He's like, make sure you watch tomorrow night's episode. And I was like, all right, man. He's like, nice to meet you. And he was just so cool. And, we super nice guy, but hey, he wasn't wrong because we watched this last Sunday night's episode and it was nothing short of awesome as usual.
Right.
And I think you can listen to Ming Chen, listen to, what did you think about the last episode? It was so damn good. It was 90 minutes, technically 60 with commercials, but what did you think, dude?
Yeah, it was perfect. It's basically straight out of the comics. So a lot of it was expected. And when I say straight out of the comics, I mean there were things that were straight out of the comic, but it was embellished. There's a lot more to it. There's only so much that you can do in 22 pages or 24 pages on a comic book with 9 panels per page,
right?
In a 2-page spread. There's only so much you can do. Where on the screen, when you have a full hour devoted to it, you're gonna get a lot more in that's gonna expand on what you've read in the books, and it was friggin' awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome. So in the books, they go in, they take some supplies, and he makes Rick say thank you, and then he says the thing where he says, "I just slid my dick down your throat, and you said thank you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you thanked me for it." He says that line word for word in the comics, and they drive off. Now, in the show, there was a lot more to it. They had the whole thing with the missing guns,
right?
And we're gonna kill her, and you guys need to find the guns, and bring them back to me, and in the comic, he Rick held the bat for him. That was straight out of the books. But yeah, there was just so much more that made you feel like Negan was just in complete control.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the books, Negan was still kind of on the fence. You were still on the fence as to whether or not Negan had asserted complete control because there wasn't enough to make you feel that way. But he did come in and run the show. So again, on the show, there was a lot more than now. At the end of that show, now you really felt like Negan was how the fuck does Rick get out of this?
Right.
Right. So even knowing what I know, I'm still not sure how it's going to play out.
Right. I mean, I think Jeffrey G. Morgan's killing it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's really doing a great job. It's funny. There's only one thing that he's doing that really annoys me. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but he does this thing where he he did it in the first episode where he appeared in, and then he's done it every episode since then. He's got this he as a character trait, he kind of leads with his dick. That's kind of how he walks. His dick's out first. His back always leans back. That's his thing. But he's got this thing where he's like, little pig. He's like, let me in. And he kind of leans back and I feel like that's a cool thing to do. If you're putting an emphasis on something, but he's doing it too often to me, where it's kind of it's almost like he's got a back issue. You know what I mean? It's I get it. I get why he's doing it, but because he's kind of he's oh, I'm going to play the laid back villain, and you guys got to kind of do what I want, and I rule this. It's I get that. But that's the only thing that annoys me. But I'm also...
It annoys you because if he did that in front of you, to you, you would want to beat his ass.
Yeah.
That's why he does it.
I know why he does it, but I hate that character choice. I hate it.
Right, but
in a way, I'm not saying I don't like the character choice. I like it, but I don't like it because it annoys me. Because if I was there, I'd want to fucking kill him.
Yeah,
and the dick line. Fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck you, bro. Yep. I mean, honestly, dude, I wanted to fucking knock him out, but it's he can't do anything.
Yeah,
and I love dude, I
Andrew
love,
Lincoln.
I love his fucking line where he's like, "I'm not in charge anymore. Negan is." He didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
he didn't have a choice. It's ultimate surrender. And then where he's like, "Oh, this is a gun. Michonne had it. It's not on the list. Take it." He didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say, dude? What are you gonna lie to him? Because then if he finds out you have it, someone's dying. And I like how there was other part in that scene in The Walking Dead where you see, I Andrew Lincoln has been trying to keep it together, except for the whole Carl incident with the almost losing his arm. he was like trying to keep it together. He's like level headed, right? But then he gets to this one scene. He's like, I can't lose anybody else. I can't lose anyone else. Like, I was like, finally, like some emotion from this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting for you to fucking just, dude, let some of it out because I know you're frustrated. I just wanted to see a tiny pinch of it.
Yeah.
And he showed it to us, and I'm glad he did because it gives some fuel to the fire to the show. Still.
I really liked when he said, like, hey, now that you know that I'm, now that you know that I'm on board, can I get a minute?
No.
That was so fucked up.
But
he was like, but he goes, hold on, I'm gonna let Daryl decide.
And that's going sour because Daryl's like, fuck you.
Daryl, you want a minute with you? Daryl was just like.
The best part, too, is if Daryl said something, he still wouldn't let him go.
Yeah.
That's just why Daryl didn't. And I just wish that Daryl and Rick had more of a moment because they didn't. Like, I wanted Daryl to give him a look to be like, I got this. Like, I'm fucked up right now, but I think I got this.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that because I didn't want any sense of security. For the fans, right? I don't want anybody to feel like, hey, they're gonna come out of this okay because Daryl's got his wits together or Rick's got something planned, or I want everybody to have that feeling that all is lost, right? So when they finally, because hey, look, The Walking Dead is about Rick.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, it started with Rick.
Yeah.
Woke up in the hospital. They show Rick driving down the road and with Shane as cops, they're talking before everything went down, had his accident, goes into the hospital, wakes up, walking around the streets with nobody on the streets anymore. It started with him. And the series is about Rick. So we know that something has to happen that's going to turn it around. But for the time being, I want that feeling of hopelessness because I feel they're doing so well that I feel like there's no hope, and I know what happens.
So but you know how it ends.
Nobody knows how it ends because it hasn't ended. But I know.
Tell you because Robert Kirkman hasn't.
I know how this ends.
I'm gonna. Okay, you know how this ends, but I will tell you this. I have a theory that somewhere along this whole journey, I would like to see, and I discount Shane. Because Shane's a different situation. And I like the whole Judith fucking shit. Like, the Judith revelation that we were all waiting for happened.
Yeah.
That was always a question that we had. That was revealed. That was awesome. Great moment for him, acting-wise. But I feel like I would like to see down the road Rick kill another cop. And not know that it's a cop or know that it's a cop and actually have to do it. Because I feel like when you kill a cop, it's the ultimate. Like if you're a cop and somebody kills a cop, you better fucking hope that you have a hole to crawl into because every cop in the world is going to fucking look for you and murder you. Like you're going to get waterboarded. I don't care what the fuck anybody says. You're done, right? Because you killed a cop.
Yeah.
I want to see that happen. Because that would actually tell me that that's the end of him. Like, him killing his own, like a cop is like probably the worst thing he could do, or like killing a kid. That's when you know he's too far gone. You know, and I don't know if that's the direction that Kirkman wants to go in, but who knows. But, hey, man, The Walking Dead has definitely taken a turn for the crazy, and I think that this season so far has been epic, and I can't wait to see where it goes, man. We got another episode in 2 days, so we'll see what happens. But all in all, guys, Rhode Island Comic-Con was awesome. We met some cool people. We had some great interviews. We met some awesome artists, and, it was just a great time all in all. Obviously, keep your eyes posted for that contest because we're going to be posting pictures of that stuff and what you guys can win. So make sure you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're on RedBeardPodcast.com. Most importantly, RedBeardPodcast.com. Check it out, guys. I think that does it this week for us, man. Cooley, what you got?
That's it.
All right, man. We will catch you guys next week. Stay posted, follow us, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
Later.
Peace.